It's now my pleasure to introduce as your speaking for the trimester class, Paul CSULB.
It's my turn to get situated. Let's give another round of applause to Ms. Sue Crockett and also Ms. Sheila Swanson, because without them tonight would not have been possible. Good evening, everyone. Magandang gabi sa iyong lahat. Buenas noches a todos. Xin chào buhay toy. Annyeong haseyo. Nursing school taught me to be culturally competent, so there you have it. My name is Paul, and it is my pleasure to be speaking to you all tonight on behalf of my graduating class. I'm actually glad that we were all able to take a break from studying for the NCLEX to join you all tonight. But I thank you all for coming, and I welcome you all to celebrate the end of our nursing school journey. It's amazing to think that 2 to 3 years ago, we were all competing with each other in our prerequisite classes for a coveted spot in this nursing program. It's also amazing that 2 to 3 years ago was the last time we saw most of you. Little did we know our lives were about to change. We were on the road to becoming a nurse. So I Googled the definition of a nurse and I found the following: to go above and beyond the call of duty, the first to work and the last to leave, the heart and soul of caring, a unique soul who will pass through your life for a minute and impact it for an eternity, an empowered individual whom you may meet for only a 12-hour period, but who will put you and yours above theirs. Since nursing school taught us to always look back and reflect, let me now take you on a walk down memory lane. November 20th, 2012. A sheet of paper was posted in the nursing building at school that day. On that sheet of paper were the names of students who were admitted into the Cal State Long Beach School of Nursing for the incoming spring 2013 semester. Our names. Insert applause here. At this point, we were all excited and in disbelief that we finally got accepted into the nursing program. However, I don't think any of us anticipated it to be quite the roller coaster ride. Now, when you hop on a roller coaster at a theme park, there's usually a list of warnings. Like, this is a high-speed roller coaster ride that includes sudden and dramatic acceleration, climbing, dropping, and backward motion. Unfortunately, nursing school didn't come with a set of warnings. Warning: may cause stress, anxiety, sleep deprivation, imbalanced nutrition, lack of social interaction. January 22nd, 2013 was our first official day as nursing students. We all had to be across the hall here at 8 a.m. for our orientation, and we were all dressed in formal attire. Well, all but one of us. That's also when we all met our clinical instructors, Lewis and April, for the first time, and we also met our clinical groups. Original Team Lewis, where are you at? My first semester clinical group really helped me get through a lot during those traumatic 16 weeks. Taking care of patients for the first time on the hospital floor, forgetting everything I knew on skills testing days, staying up late writing care plans, failing lecture exams, and writing concept maps explaining my patient's disease process. We also became acquainted with the phrases, pick the answer that is most correct, select all that apply, make sure to prioritize your care, and remember, airway, breathing, circulation. I remember Lewis asking us once, why do you all want to become nurses? Parentheses, Azorio, 2013. APA format, sorry guys. But I'll let that question sink in for a bit. So, first semester of nursing school in a nutshell. Bundle of textbooks, $699. ATI box set, $442.02. Monthly Starbucks expenditure, $200. Times of laughter and sadness with my clinical group, priceless. For everything else, there was a nursing diagnosis and a care plan. As Sherry mentioned, we were introduced to many abbreviations this semester, most of which ended up somewhere in our care plans. You know, WBC, UTI, VID, SOB, not what you think. WTF, worse than failure. Much like our very first nursing exam. Who remembers that? Alright. My favorite abbreviation, however, has to be NPO, which means nothing by mouth for those of you who don't know what NPO is. For example, a patient awaiting a procedure of some kind would be NPO and be prohibited to eat or drink anything prior to that procedure. Kind of the worst punishment, don't you think? So I have a quick story for you. It was my first day on the floor with a registered nurse, and one of our patients just so happened to be NPO. I remember passing out meal trays, and I noticed that one patient didn't have a tray. So then I went up to my nurse and asked, hey, so I know our patient's NPO, but what's he having for lunch? Puzzled, she asked me, you do know what NPO means, right? 6 semesters later, I finally realized why that patient didn't get to eat that day. Fast forward to second semester, a summer of longer clinical days because we had 12 weeks as opposed to the normal 16. It was a semester where we met our nursing 250 instructors, Rachel, Maura, Debbie, and Karen. Lectures were twice a week, lab and clinical 2 to 3 times a week. That leaves 2 days for studying and none for sleep. I like to think of it as a continuation of first semester because we continued to rotate among the med-surg units. We also had a short but interesting time in geriatrics in nursing homes that semester. I don't really remember because it went by so fast. We didn't get a summer break. Yeah. Fast forward to third semester, which lasted from September to December of last year, and we had critical care and psych mental health. Enter Jay and Sherry. I love all our instructors, but if I had to pick 2 that can whip you into shape, they even made Christmas come early that year. In the third semester of nursing school, my instructors gave to me 5 all-nighters, 4 months of crying, 3 mental breakdowns, 2 thoughts of dropout, and a semester of anxiety. Our care plans also went from packets to booklets at this time. So, as Sherry showed you, first semester care plan looked pretty flimsy, for lack of a better word. And I brought 2 of my favorite care plans from third semester, and they're pretty thick, right? So basically, a care plan is basically a book that we write about the patient will be taken care of the next day. We found ourselves sitting in front of a computer somewhere on this campus, reading patients' medical records and deciphering their diagnoses, lab results, medications, treatments, and whatnot. Then we would spend the rest of our night writing about our patient's disease process at the cellular level. We then organized it up all into a lovely care plan that would then be covered in red pen marks the next day. Like, for example, this one says very good. I had Jay third semester, by the way. He said it was very good. This is something, man. But then he also put a clip on it that says crap. So, I don't really know what he was implying there, but this one has the red F with his face on it. Sorry, it has his face on it. But if I had Sherry that semester, that F would probably have rhinestones. My clinical group had psych clinical the day before ICU, so we had to write these care plans, which were mine were about 30 pages, but that's because they were single-spaced, double-sided, and 8-point font. Sorry, in psych lecture, we learned about different psychiatric disorders like depression, eating disorders, substance abuse, panic, generalized anxiety, and its symptoms. And there were some times in class where we'd look at each other and say, I think I have that. We were also exposed to a good amount of medications in psych clinical that we normally didn't administer in the hospital. There were days in clinical where I'd observe the medication administration, watching the nurse as she'd say, here's your mood stabilizer, your anti-anxiety med, and your sleeping pill. I promise I refrained from saying, I'll have what he's having. Our clinical instructors, Marielle and Diane and Kathy, did their best to relieve some of the anxiety we felt that semester. After the end of third semester and celebrating at our Christmas party, we finally had our first real break of 5 weeks. Woo, that's a lot, in case you're wondering. We couldn't believe we made it through probably the hardest semester of nursing school. We started off 2014 with maternal health and pediatrics. Taking care of women and children was a definite change of pace, but it was a good one. Rachel and Maura made their return as our clinical instructors for OB, and they taught us a good amount of what it takes to go through childbirth. I give praise to all the mothers out here tonight. Lisa, Kate, and Vicky took us under their wings in peds and taught us that children need some love and care too. Pediatrics was pretty cool because we were able to play with babies and kids all semester, and where else do you get to do that for free and for a grade? This past summer saw a hiatus in our bedside clinical rotations, and we transitioned to community health nursing, where we stepped out into local neighborhoods and provided education to the community through various projects we did with Dr. Cooper, Debbie, and Melody. This rotation only lasted 6 weeks, so much to do, so little time. And finally, 6th semester. In this final semester of nursing school, we completed our 180-hour preceptorship, and we were able to tie up everything we've learned the past 2 years and began to take off our training wheels. While we were caught up with super senioritis, exams, papers, and projects, we began to realize how much time we had left together, and here we are. I then began to reflect on everything I experienced in nursing school, because nursing school always taught us to reflect. Why did we want to become nurses? Looking past all the care plans, the parties, the seemingly never-ending post-conferences, all the exams, lectures that were also never-ending, I had the privilege of getting to know and working closely with a group of people who had the same dreams and aspirations as I did, to help and serve others, to provide care to those in need, to make a difference in someone's life. The best feeling in the world is the one you feel when a patient grabs your hand and tells you, thank you. On top of learning how to assess patients and give medications, I feel like we have definitely grown as individuals and gained a wealth of education that cannot be matched. I even got to work on my organizational skills while I was at it. Now I'll try to get through this last part without crying. Thank you to all of our instructors who never stopped pushing us to our full potential, for teaching us more than just what we can find in a textbook, and most importantly, patiently reading all of our papers, whether it be care plans or case studies. Sherry, Jay, Maura, Lewis, Debbie, Rachel, you in the front row, thank you for everything. Thank you to all of our preceptors here at Long Beach Memorial and Miller Children's and Women's, from Cedars-Sinai Children's Hospital, LA, Fountain Valley Regional, Los Alamitos, Orange Coast Memorial, St. Mary's, and St. Joseph's. The experiences we had with all of you during this last semester was definitely the cherry on top of our nursing school experience. You all taught us so much in 180 hours, or less. To all of our friends, significant others, coworkers, and whoever else, thank you for all the times you were understanding when we had to make nursing school our priority and spending significantly less time with you. Thank you for also listening to us vent about how hard nursing school is. Hi guys. Thank you for also listening to us vent about how hard nursing school is, even when you didn't know what we were talking about half the time. Lastly, our parents. Thank you for being our #1 supporters since the very beginning. There were times when we doubted ourselves and had thoughts of giving up, but you were always there to reassure us and instill confidence to help us keep our eyes on the prize. Thank you for always believing in us, especially during the times we did not believe in ourselves. We made a bet that the first person to cry buys everyone dinner, so is anyone crying yet? Yes! To my nursing family. You are all intelligent, compassionate, empathetic individuals that provide unconditional care to others, despite their age, culture, and medical needs. I am confident that we will all be great nurses no matter where our practice takes us from here. Thank you all for an amazing 2-year journey. It definitely wasn't easy. Woo! But you all made this experience bearable and even quite enjoyable. The late Maya Angelou once said, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." We survived nursing school, guys. Now, as Jay would say, go save a life. I went to CU Stevens 2013.